Lock in all sports, all plays, all 5% best bets from now until Super Bowl 58 on February 11, 2024. From your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper for only $11.99 versus a regular price of $19.99 for a total savings of $800. This limited time super discount basically is 52 weeks at $23 per week, less than the price of one 4% play, coming out to only $3.29 per day. With the cost of a 30-day all-access priced at $2.99, it is almost like getting 8 30-day all-access passes at no additional cost. As an added bonus, your all-access starts immediately, so the sooner you buy before Super Bowl, the more additional days you get for free.
Happy Thursday, guys. Welcome to this edition of Stoppage Time on WagerTalk TV. I am Carmine Bianco. We have four big games going this weekend. Premier League is back for round 22 of action, and then we've got a big game out of Italy. We're going to cover Everton, Arsenal, Wolverhampton, Liverpool, Tottenham, Man City. These two teams playing for the second time in a couple of weeks. And then we're going to finish it with a Sunday game in Italy's Serie A with the Milan Derby, which is probably the biggest game in Italy this weekend. With me from WagerTalk.com, it's Kevin Dolan and Bryan Power. And of course, from Sports Memo, the prop man himself, Pavlos Lagretos. Let's bring the boys in. Pavlos, I'm going to start with you first, my man. On last week's show, you were promoting a huge play, and then I completely missed it as far as you telling us what the play was. And the last thing I saw was 3-0 at halftime for Sevilla. Hopefully I'm not jinxing you. That game went on to win, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was an easy winner. Sevilla had a couple of three first half goals. Elche had a red card. It was an easy win. So, and prior to that, I had 5% in the previous day. So last week was excellent. I mean, it was probably my best week here at Sports Memo, and looking forward to continue it ahead of a very, very demanding schedule overall, because we got the Champions League and Europa League in a couple of weeks. So I do have a 5% for Saturday, and I'm looking to, speaking some soccer with you guys, because there's some really exciting matches that you picked, Carmine. Like, kudos on that one.
Yeah, there's definitely some very good games. Not a lot of action this week, midweek. There were some League One games yesterday. I almost got the 4-0 sweep, but Monaco allowed a late one to win 3-2 to give me a 3-1 day. Bryan, how was your Wednesday?
Wednesday was okay. The week's been good. 6-2-1 overall the last 4 days. Got a couple 5% winners in there, starting with the Chiefs in the NFL, and then had a miracle Monday night in college hoops with Texas Tech, and 2-0 in soccer. That includes, by the way, the 6-2-1 run, 10-2 run overall on the pitch. Feeling pretty good and looking forward to breaking these games down, guys.
Awesome. Glad to hear. Another guy who has been knocking it out of the ballpark across a lot of sports, Kevin Dolan, my favorite Irishman. I think you're the only Irish guy I know, quite frankly. But if I knew a bunch of them, you would still be my favorite guy, man. How are things?
I appreciate that, Carmine. Yeah, all good. I mean, we're continuing to. I think we're 36-27, I believe, over the last 3 weeks. So grinding out profit. We went 3-1 last night, but unfortunately, that one loss was on the Oklahoma City Thunder -5.5. But yeah, I mean, soccer especially has been really good. We were on RKC Walwick over in the Dutch Eredivisie yesterday. That was a winner. We were on Luton Town on Tuesday. That was a winner. We like hitting these kind of softer leagues for big profit. And we have an EPL showstopper triple pack loaded up already for Saturday's card over at WagerTalk. So yeah, excited about these games that we're going to talk about. And we'll give out a massive $200 off promo over in the NHL at the end of the show as well.
Awesome. That's what I love to hear. And the Puck Time, which I co-host with Andrew McInnes, is on the All-Star break right now. We'll be back next week, I believe, on Tuesday. And I'm going to get you in on a show because I love bringing you on. You're having a very good NHL year as well, too. We're going to go mono and mono, I think, throughout the rest of the NHL season. But I'm good with it. As long as we're winning, our clients are happy. And that's all that really matters. So make sure you clear a day for next week on on Puck Time. All right, so we are going to look at 3 EPL games, and then we're going to finish it off with a Serie A game. And we're going to kick it off right off the bat with the Saturday morning fixture, the 7:30 Eastern time fixture, which sometimes has a few surprises in it. The odds on this one: Everton plus 726, the draws plus 370, and Arsenal, top of the league, Arsenal minus 246. Kevin and I are going to break this down, and I'm just going to have some talking points on this one. Usually I'm big on managerial changes, and we know Kev's favorite manager was canned, Frank Lampard gone, Sam Dyche in there now. And normally I want to bet on teams in their first 2 or 3 games after managerial change because we see an uptick in their play. They seem to turn it around, and sometimes there's some value for bettors. Now, do I want to get in front of this Arsenal team? I've tried a couple times this year. It hasn't gone well. This team isn't showing many flaws thus far. A couple draws, 1 loss to Man United, and they got some rapid revenge on that, beating United back at the Emirates. But this isn't one I want to go against Arsenal unless I was looking at maybe the handicap of taking Everton plus the 1.25, maybe 1.5 if it becomes available. I think the Toffees will be better defensively, and that's why I'm looking at this from a totals point of view. Right now, the total sits at 2.5, minus 120 to the over. But I'm looking at the under here. I think we see a better defensive game, a better defensive setup from this Everton side. And the Saturday morning fixtures have brought us a ton of surprises. So a 1-0 for somebody kind of win wouldn't surprise me in this one. I'm going to take the under. And then I'm going to go to Kev to see, because him and I, with this Arsenal team, we just call it Jenga Arsenal. Kev, what do you got in this one?
The only surprise I want to see in this one, Carmine, is Frank Lampard coming out of that tunnel like Vince McMahon. That would make my day on Saturday morning. Look, it's funny because we know exactly what we're going to get out of this Everton team now with Sean Dyche in charge. Excuse me. When him or Sam Allardyce, as you say, get the call, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get old school 4-4-2 attrition football, training on a freezing Tuesday night out in the rain. No bells and whistles, but that's exactly what Everton needs right now. I don't know if any of you seen the reports of midweek about Dyche bringing in full shin pads back to training. But that alone should tell you all you need to know about how Everton are going to set up here. They're going to bring that physicality back into their play, something that was missing under Frank Lampard. And Everton could well be a back-on team from this point of the season. I really rate Sean Dyche. He's a really good manager. And I don't think, personally, there was another team that made me more money in the EPL over the last, 5.5 seasons than Burnley did. They were just so reliable at grinding out results week after week on the handicap. So, the other fact, obviously, in this one is, look, he's going to be linking up with some of his old comrades here, James Tarkowski, Dwight McNeil as well. And plus, there are other players on this Everton squad already who will no doubt, kind of suit the style of play. You've got workhorses like Idrissa Gueye, Connor Cody, on loan from Wolves, Shamie Coleman and so on. I think they'll thrive under a Sean Dyche system, in all honesty. So, this is almost a free hit for Dyche on Saturday. I don't think anyone expects him to topple the league leaders in this, opening game. But if he can keep this one somewhat competitive here, get stuck into Arsenal from the get-go, which is something I think we're seeing with those training pads, shin pads in training, spirits might lift in the Everton camp and he might just have enough to save him this season. But in terms of this game, like you, Carmine, I expect Everton to be well set up here at the back, well marshalled. And for as good as Arsenal have been this season, I still think they're a little soft. That's kind of a criticism that's been levelled at them in the past. But I think they're going to have a hard time breaking down this Everton back line. So, give me Everton plus a goal and a quarter head start in this one on Saturday.
All right, I like it. I'm good with, let me see what fits into that. A 1-0 final, a scoreless draw. I'm telling you, the Saturday morning fixtures have been nothing more than a surprise throughout the year. And last year, we saw quite a few of them. I think at the end of the day, as far as Lampard goes, and Nick Borman would mention it all the time, is you look at sometimes the home and away splits, and If you struggle on the road, it's one thing. If you struggle at home, it's another. Everton at home, 10 games, 9 goals scored, 14 conceded. And of those 14 goals, 4 came in their last 4 home defeats, 10 of them came in their last 4 home defeats. And that's just not good enough for this team. So we'll see what Sam can do with this side, if he can make them better defensively. If they can, they might get some kind of a result, but they've got to get themselves out of that relegation zone. We'll see if they can do it. I'm pretty happy with my preseason future on Everton to finish bottom 10. I'm going to guess that one is going to be one that I cash this season. All right, let's move on to another game. This one goes on Saturday, Wolverhampton and Liverpool. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Wolves at home, plus 317. The draw, plus 284. Liverpool, minus 119 on the road. These are two teams that have become familiar with themselves over the last month or so, having to play a couple cup games. First one finishes in a 2-2 draw. They have to do the replay. Liverpool goes and gets the 1-0 win at the Molineux. Bryan, I'm going to go to you on this one first. Is this the turning point for a Liverpool team that has just been having an up and down season?
Well, yeah, Carmine. I mean, out of the FA Cup, out of the EFL Cup, 9th in the Premier League table here. Only chance of hardware is the Champions League, but they've got Real Madrid on deck there. So I don't think a lot of people like Liverpool's chances in that competition. I'm going to say this is where we buy low on them. I know they're missing a number of key attackers, but as you just mentioned in that replay a couple weeks ago, they beat Wolves 1-0. The defensive issues that we've talked about on the program before, they have subsided a bit recently. They've just conceded twice in the last 3 matches, both of those coming in the loss to Brighton last weekend. Obviously, the game winner coming in stoppage time there. Brighton, as we all know, has had Liverpool's number this season, but I know we had a goalless draw against Chelsea, a loss to Brentford. But remember, guys, how Liverpool came out of the World Cup break. Pair of wins against sides in the bottom half of the table. They put up 5.5 XG in those 2 wins. So obviously the Wolves are a bottom half of the table side. They were one of my top regression candidates coming into the season. That's exactly what has happened. The only reason they're outside the relegation zone is they've got a better goal differential than Bournemouth right now. But they've got just 1 win in their last 7, and that was 1-0 over West Ham here at home. But if you can believe it, they have not posted back-to-back home victories in the league since November of 2021. That is over a full calendar year. We're talking about fewest goals scored in the league with just 12. And unlike last season, this is why they were such a strong regression candidate in my eyes, guys. They really overachieved last year in terms of the number of goals allowed when you look at XG. That's not happening this year. Their bottom 7 are the Wolves in goals allowed in the Premier League this season. I am buying low, take Liverpool to get the full 3 on Saturday.
All right, there you go. Brian Power with his thoughts on Wolverhampton and Liverpool. Pavlos, I'm not even going to try and pronounce. I think I got it wrong last time. Wolves new manager who came in and from La Liga, and I thought they were playing better, but we still see the same fundamental mistakes from this Wolves team each and every week. He's improved them a little bit, but not enough that they're not going to be in that relegation battle for the rest of the year. I just, unless 2 or 3 other teams completely tank, I think they're going to be in that battle well into the final third of this season. Give me your thoughts on this game. Pavlos, you're muted, I believe.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I believe this is a transitional period for Wolves, who I think they're going to be better under the new coach, whose name is Julien Lopetegui. Now, this guy is all about home advantage. Villarreal were really, his teams are really good, especially at home. However, this Wolves side has been this year they've been really unlucky with all the the offensive players that they had. Raul Jimenez, who was one of their top strikers about 3-4 seasons ago, he's non-existent this season. Adama Traore, who came from Barcelona, non-existent. They bought in Guedes from Spain. They shipped him off to Benfica. They bought in Diego Costa. He's just getting cards. The best the best attacker they have right now is probably Hwang. They do have like 10 wingers in that squad. Not they brought in Mateus Cunha from Atletico Madrid. So at some point, these players will click, will gel together, and I think Wolves should be safe from every possible relegation scenario. I don't think they're going down. They have a lot of quality, and I think they're going to have a much better second half of the season. Now, as Bryan said, this might be the spot to buy low on Liverpool. However, I'm just not seeing it in the sense that Liverpool, for whatever reason, on Januaries, they struggled. They struggled last January, the January before that, and the January before that. I don't know what happens. Maybe they allow their players to eat a lot of turkey, I don't know, during Christmas or whatever. But for whatever reason, January is not Klopp's month. So now January is over. It's February. And this might be the turning point that Liverpool are looking for. Sitting ninth in the EPL just doesn't sit right with me. And to be honest, they've had a lot of injuries to the extent that they have to use Elliott and Bite as starters in each of the last 3 matches. So that tells you they do have a problem in that depth, in that squad. So I tried looking at this, tried to fade Liverpool here, but I ended up taking a first half side bet. Now, Wolves, they have the most first half draws in the EPL with 11 draws in 20 matches. They also have the most first half draws at home with 6 draws in 10 matches. They scored just 4 goals and conceded 6. Liverpool on the road, again, in first halves, they've been mediocre at best. They have 6 wins, 7 losses, and 6 draws in first halves. And they're even worse on the road with 2 wins, 4 losses, and 3 draws in first halves, scoring just 5 goals and conceded 6. So I'm going to take the first half, Wolves plus a quarter goal at minus 120, which is a split line between Wolves plus half a goal and Wolves pick 'em. So I think that Wolves are not going to be losing in that first half. So I like this bet a lot.
All right, Pavlos, I got this a sports memo. Pavlos, scoreless draw at halftime, 2-0, Liverpool win. You're happy. Brian Power is happy. And then and we move on to the third game. Pavlos, one quick question, and you guys can also chime in. You look at the standings right now, and Liverpool sits in 9th, 29 points. Them getting into Champions League next season pretty much amounts to them having to win Champions League this year. I think the defending champions get back in. I just don't see how they get into the top 4. You look at Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, and United, and then even Tottenham up there. Is there any way they can get into the top 4? Anybody?
The transfer window is over, so they're not getting any more reinforcements. Gakpo, who was a probably star signing this season, doesn't really. It's just a small sample of matches, but he's not really into that. So unless they have some miraculous transformation in that second half, I just don't see how they're going to play in the Champions League next season. However, it's not that, they're just 10 points behind the top 4. So it's not done yet, but it looks like they're going to be playing at, the Europa League at best.
Yeah, it does look like 10 points just seems like a lot to overturn. And there was a lot of money spent in this January transfer window. I thought I read somewhere close to, for EPL sides, close to or just a little over 1 billion spent at the transfer window. A lot of the teams
spending half of that. Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy because prior to the year when there was the fans in the UK protested against the Super League, it was not to create an entity that is bigger than anything else, but that is what the EPL has become, an entity that is bigger than anything else. It's just amazing the amount of money that was spent in January and the players who have come over to some of these Premier League sides. All right. Speaking of Champions League, after this next game, I'm going to have a promo for you guys. It is a promo that's for the next 2 or 3 days, but it's a very good one that you can take advantage of with Champions League right around the corner. But before we do that, probably the biggest game of the weekend in the EPL is Tottenham and Man City. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Tottenham plus 340 at home. The Dross plus 320 and Man City minus 140. Kev, you and Brian are going to handle this game. All I can tell you is these teams played 2 weeks ago. I was in Vegas cashing some World Cup tickets, and I had a bunch of client plays all tied to this game. And 2-0 Tottenham at halftime. And I can tell you all three of those client plays were losing, but 4 goals in the second half by City, 4-2 final. And I went from an 0-3 day to a 3-0 day. So I was pretty happy. 6 goals in that one. Any chance we get anything close to that in this one, Kev?
There's always a chance, Carmine. There's always a chance. I'm having a hard time with this game, to be honest. I was surprised, like a lot of people, by the news of Cancelo's departure. He's been an absolute mainstay for this City side over the last few years. So, it's just the whole news around City right now. Is there trouble in paradise? Who knows? Supposedly Pep Guardiola thinks his side look too comfortable out there. They're just kind of going through the motions, so to speak. So, if you're going to make changes to freshen up this squad, like he did with bringing in Rico Lewis, for example, for Cancelo, then, those type of more well-established players are going to suffer. So, it's just a tough one to read with this team in terms of, is this just a simple matter of Pep making a couple of changes, freshen up the squad, and then suddenly City are back in business? Or, maybe it hints at a deeper problem with the club. Maybe, Pep's lost the dressing room. Maybe he's the change that's needed. So I don't want to hit the panic button on Man City. Obviously, that's way too early. But it doesn't look all rosy at the club, for sure. So, with the fact there's so much uncertainty, with Man City, with the facts surrounding this game, I just don't want to get involved in picking a side here. Actually running the XG, Tottenham were the ones that popped out as the value side here. So, you talked about that game last time out. I'm going to come right back and do the same thing I did last time. I'm going to take the under 3 goals, which looked good early in that one. Looked good up until about the 40th minute, until it exploded into life. So, yeah, that's going off of minus 120 in this one. Look, same reasons. Manchester City on the road this season have been absolutely fantastic. Number 1 in defensive XGA, second fewest goals allowed from open play as well. And they face a Tottenham side here who also ranked top 5 this year in defensive XGA at home. So it's not a play I'll be rushing to the window, by any means here. But, if I'm playing this one, I believe the under looks like the best shout here at a straight 3.
All right. That's Kevin Dolan of WagerTalk.com. And Kev, it did look good. I'll be honest with you. It looked like a dead under for the first 45 minutes. And then, like I said, a 45th minute goal, one in injury time, and Tottenham go to the locker room up 2-0. And I say it both in football, European football, and in hockey. A 2-goal lead is one of the scariest leads to have, because when you concede the first, momentum has changed. One thing, and Brian, I'm going to get your feedback on this game next, is I don't expect Antonio Conte to be on the sidelines for this Tottenham team. He just had his gallbladder taken out, so he's definitely not going to be on the sidelines jumping up and down. He'll be watching this game from a monitor somewhere. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, look, I still have City rated as a superior side, but Kevin, I thought, laid out a pretty nice synopsis there why you probably don't want to lay the price here with City. Tottenham, they're going to come in desperate. They've won just twice in 6 league matches since the World Cup break. Did just progress to the FA Cup. Last time in league play, they were 1-0 winners. But, as you mentioned, Carmine, just a moment ago, no Conte. And, of course, we've got to go back to the last time these teams faced off, January 19th. As we've all said, it was won by City 4-2, but XG said it shouldn't have been that high scoring. And City has not allowed any goals in the 2 subsequent matches. They beat Wolves 3-0 here in the league, and then Arsenal, of course, 1-0 in the FA Cup. Look, I know it's risky because you've got 2 of the 3 highest scoring sides in the league here, but I too would look at the under 3. The reverse was the only one of Liverpool's last 5 with more than 3 goals scored. And similarly, we've seen 3 or less scored in 4 of Tottenham's last 5 matches. So yeah, make it 2 for 2. I'm in agreement with Kevin here. I am on the under 3 as Tottenham takes on Man City Sunday.
All right, Brian Power. And the scary thing here, guys, is if our head of production, Joe Ranieri, is watching this show right now, he is going to fade all 3 of us, because I like the under in this game as well, too. While I like the over in the first game, I think it's going to be a little different. And when he hears us all go one way, he loves to go the other. So, Joe, if you're watching this, I hope this is one of those ones where you lose and the 3 of us win. But we'll discuss that on Tuesday's show, where
Joe
we're
loves
also
to go
going to
against
discuss
whatever I say.
Yeah, he does. It is Joe. He absolutely loves it. He hasn't stopped messaging me about the Buffalo Bills going down, and he's a Jets fan. So take that for with a grain of salt. But next week we're going to have some Champions League. And speaking of Champions League, I want to put up a show special, and this one is good until Sunday at midnight. Champions League's right around the corner. Guys are starting to load their plays, load some props, load some futures for the knockout stages. I've already reduced the Champions League package that goes for all 3 tournaments: Champions League, Europa League, and Europa Conference League. The 3 tournaments that are running right now that will end in June. That was originally $299. I dropped it to $149. I'm going to give you a chance to get $30 off, an additional $30 off if you use coupon code UEFA30. So use the code UEFA30 to get another $30 off, and $119. You're essentially going to get every single play released from your favorite capper in Champions League, Europa League, and Europa League Conference League, right through to the finals, which are in June. That's a ton of games for essentially the price of 4 packages, 4 daily packages. So head over to WagerTalk and Sports Memo, and that is good for myself, Kevin, Brian at WagerTalk, and then Pavlos and Nick Borman over at Sports Memo. So you can get that. Use that coupon for as many as you wish as well, too. All right, last game of this show. We are going to Italy, and we're going to Milan for the Milan Derby. Inter Milan, AC Milan, the odds on this one. Inter at home, even money, plus 100. The draw is plus 320. AC Milan is plus 271 in this one. Pavlos and I are going to look at this one. I'm going to make it quick with my analysis of this. This is two teams seemingly going in opposite directions. I talked a couple of weeks ago about this AC Milan team, and this is not the same AC Milan team as last year. They have become so reliant, it seems, on Rafael Leao, Teo Hernandez, and they are just not playing as a complete unit. Pioli, I don't know what he's thinking, or if he's worried about his job being in jeopardy. They've gone from 2nd to 5th. They've fallen out of that Champions League top 4 placings. And these teams just played in the SuperCoppa with the Italian Super Cup, with Inter winning that game 3-0. I don't see a similar result here. I think this is going to be a cagey affair, a low-scoring affair. But at even money, Inter at home, even though they play such a slow style, it seems to me, and they're happy with those 1-0 wins, I'm leaning a couple of ways here. I'm leaning on Inter to win, and I'm leaning on the under in this game. And that's where I'm going as far as this one goes. Home side, Inter Milan, and the under in this game. A couple plays on this one. Pavlos, what do you got?
This is a tricky match for the totals. So I would suggest very much caution, because anything can happen. This is a Milan derby. It could be an over, it could be an under, and I wouldn't be surprised. So they do have a tendency to the over. In each of the last 3 matches had 3 goals or more. However, I personally couldn't make anything out of the goal. So looking at the sides, I immediately saw, Inter Milan at even money, and I said, okay, do I rather bet on Inter Milan at this price and then maybe it's a draw and I lose, or do I bet on AC Milan plus half a goal and then Inter Milan blast them by 3-0? I would be so pissed off if I did that. So AC Milan, they're hurting right now, and they're hurting a lot. And if you look at their matches after the winter break, in the last match, they got thrashed by 5-2 against Sassuolo. They conceded 5 goals against Sassuolo. To be honest, I had Berardi. It wasn't a client play, just a bet for my own sake. I had Berardi to score anytime at plus 450. So the guy gives out 2 assists within 3 minutes in the first half, and I'm screaming at the TV, and then 5 minutes later he scores. So keep that name in mind, because Berardi has scored the most career goals against AC Milan. So in the other fixture, keep that in mind. Take Berardi to score anytime. So the XG in that match, AC Milan 0.5, Sassuolo 2.07. So they had over 1.5 XG difference between them. In the previous match against Lazio, they lost by 4-0 on the road. Lazio had 2.81 expected goals. AC Milan had 1.04. Again, a difference of over 1.5 XG. In their away match at Lecce, they had fewer XG than Lecce. Do you understand? Lecce. So there's something definitely wrong with AC Milan. I know what's wrong with the French players. Both Theo Hernandez and Giroud, they reached the final of the World Cup. They played so many minutes, so they're just they're human. They're not superhuman. So at some point, and we knew that many of these big sides that had a lot of players in the World Cup, they're gonna go in a slump come January, February, max. So this is a slump. This is AC Milan on a slump. So I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole at these prices. I like Inter Milan moneyline here, who have been much more stable. The only match that they've lost, after the break was against Empoli, which was a really weird match. I had Inter Milan to win and both teams to score no, and they lost with both teams to score no. And there's a good reason why, because Milan Skriniar, one of the center backs, wanted to leave and go to PSG. So what did he do? He got a yellow card at the 25th minute and then another yellow card at the 40th minute. So he let his team down 10 men, and of course they lost. So that was the only blank, they shot after the break. So I like Inter Milan. Again, this is a Milan derby. Anything can happen. Maybe AC Milan, after the shocking loss to Sassuolo, will spring back to life. I just don't see it happening. I like Inter Milan here.
All right, Pavlos Lairetos with his breakdown. I agree with everything you said. Extremely well done there. And you mentioned Berardi Sassuolo. Listen, I take my losses really bad, and all I remember from Berardi is his missed goal against North Macedonia. He had a gaping net in the playoffs to get into the finals of the qualification against Portugal to see who got to the World Cup. He misses a gaping open net. I'm sorry, Kevin Doling with 18 Guinness pints in him would have easily slotted that into the bottom left-hand corner. So that's what I remember when we talk about Berardi. So with that said, great recap on this game, the Milan Derby, which goes on Sunday. All right, we're going to go through our recap order, and you'll get the leans from the guys, and we'll find out what they have up at WagerTalk and Sports Memo. And we'll kick it off with Kevin Dolan. Kev, let us know what you have up, and we'll see your leans up on the screen.
Let's put that theory to the test in August in Vegas, Carmine. I'll sink 18 pints of Guinness, and you line up the shot for me, and we'll see how we go. We've got an EPL triple pack loaded up for Saturday, as we mentioned previously. We've also got a Friday Euro top play. As we said, those have been going really well. We cashed on Walwick yesterday. We cashed on Luton Town on Tuesday. So definitely get on board that. In terms of that special promo we mentioned at the start as well, that gets the rest of my NHL season for less than half price. Knocks the full season pass down from $3.99 to just $1.99 until this Sunday. Gets off the board this Sunday. That's $200 saving when you use code SLAP50 at checkout, SLAP50. So definitely go check that out. We're on a red hot 12-4 run in the NHL right now. Ranked number 2 on the season in three-way moneyline betting as well. So really excited for the back half of the year.
All right, best of luck to you, and we will see you next week on Puck Time, as well as the 2 Stoppage Time shows that we will have on. Bryan, I'm going to go to you next. Let us know what you have up at WagerTalk, and we'll have a look at your leans up on the screen.
Yeah, guys, just a reminder, 6-2-1 overall the last 4 days. Right now, there is a special. You can get the next 3 days for just $30. Use coupon code GAME3. That deal also applies to 2 other cappers, Adam Trigger and then Jeff Michaels at Sports Memo. The 3 of us are getting together Friday night for a little college basketball action. Kent State and Akron will be representing WagerTalk in the building. But if you take advantage, obviously, of that 3-day pass, you'll get my complete soccer card for the weekend, which should be up in the next 24 hours. We are running hot in soccer, 10-2 last 12, including 2-0 since Monday. Had West Ham on Monday and Barcelona yesterday. So feeling good about the weekend, guys. Looking forward to another strong stretch of action in all sports.
Awesome. Keep winning, Bry. And Kev, I hope we Wager Talk does the meet and greet again this year. But one way or another, if you can make it in August, it's contest sign-up season, of course, both at the Superbook and at Circa for the NFL contest. So I'll be there in August, and I'll make sure we try the Kevin 18-pint challenge there. Pavlos, maybe we can get you out as well, too. But let us know what you have up at Sports Memo, and we'll have a look at your leans on today's show. Pavlos, you're muted, Pavlos.
Yeah, I do have a
5% on the money line. Let us know what you have up at Sports Memo.
Okay, I do have a 5% money line top bet for Saturday. They're being hitting, this 13-2 run in my last 15 money line top bets, 5% money line top bets for 56 units of profit, 22-5 in all 5% side bets this season for 74.4 units of profit. So I do have another one. The next one is up. It's going to be a winner. It goes live on Saturday. And here are my leans for the EPL and the Serie A.
All right. Love to hear it. Keep winning, Pavlos. Guys, remember that promo I mentioned. It'll go on after I'm done with my leans. 3 plays up in soccer today over at Wager Talk. You can get those for $29. And of course, I have a Saturday 5% play loaded up in soccer. You can get that as well, too. It's been a good start to the year with 5% plays across all sports. So grab that over at Wager Talk, or grab the 3 or 7 day all access packages. The 3-day all access will get you today's plays and Saturday's 5% play. And of course, don't forget the show promo. Champions League is right around the corner. Knockout stages are about to start in Champions League, obviously in the Europa League and the Europa Conference Leagues. And you can get $30 off the tournament package, which gets you every single play through all 3 tournaments through the finals. I reduced it to $149 from $299. You can get it for $119 now by getting $30 off with code UEFA30. That coupon code expires Sunday at midnight, so take advantage of that for any one of the cappers on this show. And of course, Nick Borman, who will be back on the show next week as well, too. Guys, for myself, Kevin Dolan, Brian Power, and Pavlos Lagaretos, this is Stoppage Time. Best of luck with your wagers. We'll see you next Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Lock in all sports, all plays, all 5% best bets from now until Super Bowl 58 on February 11th, 2024. If you're your favorite Wager Talk or Sports Memo handicapper for only $11.99 versus a regular price of $19.99 for a total savings of $800. This limited time super discount basically is 52 weeks at $23 per week, less than the price of one 4% play, coming out to only $3.29 per day. With the cost of a 30-day all-access priced at $299, it is almost like getting 8 30-day all-access passes at no additional cost. As an added bonus, your all-access starts immediately, so the sooner you buy before Super Bowl, the more additional days you get for free.